Hello everyone, this video will cover Module 6. So Module 6 is the first module for drama. We're moving on to our last genre for the semester, and that is to read plays. So this section of the class will be a little bit different. You will also be working on your research project, so don't forget about that. Keep that in the back of your mind that you want to be getting that started and getting your sources down, that kind of thing, and then deciding, how you're going to put your project together, how long it's going to take you, that kind of thing. And then just keep in mind that we're doing the same thing with drama that we did for the other two genres. We have one module where you're just learning about it. You take the quiz, you'll do a little bit of a writing activity, and then in the next module you'll take the exam and do, instead of doing another essay, you're doing that project. So this is what the module looks like. The readings here, there are fewer chapters about drama because we've already covered a lot of stuff in the class that's just related to literature, and so a lot of it applies to drama as well. However, there are some differences in the plot structure and how the characters are created and interpreted, and then the staging part, which would be the main thing that sets drama apart from poetry and short stories, is obviously you have to put it on stage for it to be complete. So that's one of the things I want you to remember when you're reading these plays, is that they are not complete when you're just reading them. You have to really watch something being performed to truly understand what's going on with how it's written. And so that's why I have, if you notice here, I've got a couple of video versions of the three plays that you're reading. Are fairly short. Anton Chekhov's The Brute or The Bear, depending on how it's translated. Susan Glaspell's Trifles, and then August Wilson's Fences. These three plays are really good because they're fairly short and contained. They don't have too many characters, so they're pretty easy to follow. And I found 3 video versions as well. The Fences one is actually one on stage, which is nice to see. If you've never gone to see a live play before, I highly recommend it, just because it helps to see, how things are taken from the page and translated on stage. It's kind of interesting to see how people will do it in different ways in different places. But I've got a version for all 3 of them, so I do recommend, if you can, I know we don't have a print version of the book, but if there's some way that you can watch the video, maybe on your phone or something, while you're reading along with the textbook, I think it makes it so much easier to read these plays. Because you can see, I might go down here just to show you what the play looks like. If you've never seen a script before, you've got the characters listed first, and then it has, it's just the dialogue. It's just the text. There might be a few directions, stage directions, how the characters enter, what might happen in the background, that kind of thing. But you have to really picture it. There's no description, there's no narration. It's all what people are saying. And so it can be really hard to read and understand what's going on if you're not familiar with it. So I think watching it really helps. So those are there for you if you would like to look at them. Once you're done with the reading, so there's 4 chapters to look at, then you're going to take that quiz. Quiz covers all of them. And then once you're done with that, you have 1 writing assignment to complete related to drama reading. So once you've done the readings, I do need to change that number there. In fact, you can also choose The Brute, which I'll put in here as well. You have 5 journal entries to complete. So just like we've done before, this is a personal response writing assignment, not an essay. You're basically choosing 1 or 5 of these elements, and you're going to write about them in relation to your chosen play. So I would just do the one that you liked the best or the one that you understood the best, and then choose 5 elements that you want to discuss, and then you'll write 1 entry for each one. So if you want to do characters, you're basically just going to describe, who are the characters, what type of characters are they, how are they portrayed. If you watch the video version, maybe you can discuss some of the differences that you see between watching it versus reading it. And then just personal observation, personal response, which character did you like the best? All of those kind of things are perfectly fine to include. So you're just trying to isolate that specific element or aspect and write a response about it for that particular play. So you're just choosing one play to do all 5 for, and when you're done, you'll just have a Word document with 5 entries or 5 paragraphs in it, one for each of your 5 chosen elements. So it might take you a little while to do, but it shouldn't be too difficult as far as writing is concerned, because you're not writing an essay there. Just kind of pace yourself through that. And then the last thing in here is to continue working on your research project. I have some stuff in here. These are just resources for you, just some tips for particularly making effective PowerPoints, because I have a lot of students choose the PowerPoint option, which is fine. I get a lot of really boring PowerPoints. So I can tell when you've just slapped it together at the last minute, and I can tell when you have actually put some effort into it. So you want to make sure that you are trying to be considerate of like how many words are on this page. What does the text look like? Is it all like squished together? Can we spread it out? Can we put some visual effects in there? So remember, creativity does count as part of your grade, so you want to make sure that you are really thinking about that. And then the actual assignment in this module is to turn in your 5 sources. So some of you I know have already started looking for sources, and so remember, you do not need to use these sources in your project, with the exception of like if you're going to include a quotation or something, then I need to know which source it came from. Some students will just have a works cited page with their or slide as the last slide of their PowerPoint, and that's fine. If you're doing something more creative, so some artwork, a diorama, or whatever, then those sources obviously won't be in your project, but they are going to help you be inspired. So let's say you wanted to do a painting from your favorite short story. The short story is going to be one of your sources. You might have a biography of the author as one of your sources. You might have an encyclopedia entry about the time period as one of your sources. And then maybe your other 2 sources are more painting related. So maybe technique related, or anything that helps inspire you. Maybe you have an image that you use to help you create the painting, as you had to look up how to paint something specific. That's totally fine to use those types of sources. So they don't necessarily need to be directly related to the subject of your research. They just need to be something that's going to help you to do your research. So if you have any questions about a source, whether or not it belongs on your list, just let me know. They do need to be in MLA style, and they do need to be alphabetized, and it's just the sources themselves. You don't have to write about them or anything like that. So if you have any questions about that, you just make sure that you let me know. I do have a link to the Allen databases. They do not work on Chrome, which is kind of annoying. But all you have to do to use the Allen databases is, type in whatever you want to search for. So if I want to do The Lottery by Shirley Jackson, search through here, I might be able to find some articles to help me. I might be able to find some biographical information for her, maybe some sources that have done some analysis of, and none of these are related to. Okay, I probably should spell lottery right, would help. There we go. And there's a lot of criticism of her work, and so there's a lot of things that might be able to help me. I can actually use, the actual text of the story. I've got information about her. So I've got a lot of things that I can look at, and even if they don't end up like being a central part of my research project, that's totally fine. So that's what that's in there for. And then I've got some more information about research and documentation, And then just as a reminder, there's the research project, the actual project criteria itself, so you know, or as a reminder what you're going to be working on. So this is the source list that you're going to end up turning in with any corrections that you need to make. You may end up like taking out a source and using a different source, and that's fine, but just kind of keep that in mind that this is part of the project that you'll turn in. So if you have any questions, let me know. Otherwise, have a great week.